Two balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Walk the walk. Chris Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Scott Geirman, one of our writers over at DodgerBlue.com. Scott, we're talking Andrew Heaney today, and this is a guy who was fantastic last night. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. His 6th start since coming off the injured list, first time going more than 5 innings. And so I want to have 2 conversations with you. The first is, how confident are you in Andrew Heaney sustaining what we saw last night? And secondly, where does this guy fit sort of long-term as we look ahead to the postseason roster? So just diving straight in here, let's put some context on how we feel about Heaney. I want to rattle off all of the other Dodgers starting pitchers right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, give me your level of confidence. If you needed to win a game tomorrow and this guy was starting, how confident would you be? 10 would be peak Kershaw. 1 would be Josh Hader right now for the San Diego Padres, all right? So we'll start with Urias. Scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in Julio Urias if you need to win a game with him tomorrow?
I'll go about an 8.
Okay, yeah. I'm 8.5 on Julio. I'm a high man, I know, on Julio, but you're 8 on Julio. Clayton Kershaw, where are you at on Kershaw? When he's back, when he's healthy, assuming he's back, how confident are you in the 2022 version of Kershaw?
Assuming he's what we saw, right, like when at his peak this year, I would say right there, probably main line with Julio. I would say even a little more. I would say about 8.5, just based on pedigree, what he's done. I would say 8.5.
All right, so you got 8 for Julio, 8.5 for Kershaw. I dropped down. I'm going to go 8.5 for Julio. I'm at a 7.5 for Kershaw, just because the injuries getting up there a little bit. But look, when he's on, he's on. Gonsolin, where are you at on Gonsolin? National League leader in ERA.
Man, all right, I'm going to backtrack on Kershaw then. Tiny bit, real fast. And then we'll go right back to that. I'm going to say 7.5 for Clayton. For Tony, I'm going to go 8.
Okay. So you've got Gonsolin ahead of Kershaw and guys you're confident in.
Yes, I have a reason for it. It's purely because when Kershaw he's kind of who he is. Things need to be on. And Gonsolin has shown this year he's got multiple pitches he can go to. Like his slider is everyone wants to talk about a split change, but his slider is one of the best in baseball. He's just got a couple weapons right now that he's really locked in on. And Kershaw having to come back. We'll see. That's why I'm a little bit higher on Tony. When he's hot, he's unhittable.
So Gonsolin, are you higher? Urias 1, Gonsolin 2, Kershaw 3. Is that what I'm hearing so far? Okay. So Gonsolin's a 7 for me. So I've got 8.5 Julio, 7.5 Clayton, 7 for Gonsolin. Tyler Anderson, scale of 1 to 10.
I'm gonna say about a 6.
Okay, I've got 6.5, a tick below Gonsolin. Dustin May, this is the wild card. We've only seen 1 start in the last 500 days or something from Dustin May, but where are you at on Dustin May?
I'm going to say about a 9, man.
9, so he's number 1. You feel the most confident in Dustin May of any Dodger starter.
For the reason, from based off one game, I understand. I mean, if you told me if he's my number 1 or he's a TBD, then he's number 1 purely based on stuff. The book isn't out on him right now. He's worked on multiple things since he's been out. So just because there's not much tape on this Dustin May post Tommy John, that's why he's up there for me right now. I mean, we could do this video after a few different starts, but based off of just off stuff, and that he's done it before. He's been in the playoffs. So if you want to talk to me about one game, yeah, man. I mean, I'm high on that. In one game, yeah.
Okay, I've got May 6.5. So May and Anderson tied for 4th for me. So Andrew Heaney for you then. And again, the exercise today is about Heaney, but those numbers give us context for where Heaney slides in. I've got Heaney at a 6, so I've got him last on this list, a tick below Anderson and a tick below May. I'm with you. I think the May variance could go way up, could go way down, depending on the next few starts. But where does Heaney fit on a scale of 1 to 10 for you?
Heaney's interesting. I'll probably co-sign with you. I'll co-sign right there with you. He's at the bottom for me. My scale thing is kind of blown out right now because of my ratings, but I'll just say with you, he's at the bottom of my list. I know his stuff is really impressive and his numbers are all there. It's just he's a little bit of a different case, but purely based off of when he's missed. It's been middle of the plate. I'm gonna go right at the bottom for you, and that's no disrespect to him. I know he's been terrific. It's just that in a full game, he's at the bottom for me right now.
That's the appropriate use, by the way, of no disrespect to him, because literally we're just saying there's 5 other guys that are very good ahead of him. Looking at Heaney's numbers, 9 starts so far this year, 41 and 2/3. Like, people forget, 1.94 ERA, 5.17 K to walk rate, 13.39 K per 9. The baseball savant stuff, encouraging 98th percentile strikeout rate, 93rd percentile whiff rate, 94th percentile chase rate. The flip side, there is some loud contact. Exit velocity, hard hit, barrel rate, all bottom 17%. He's allowed 4 home runs his last 2 outings, 7 earned runs in his last 13 and 2/3, which leads us then, Scott, to the second question, which is, so where does Heaney fit come October? You and I are both saying he's the 6th starter. Even with a condensed postseason, it's probably 5. That would typically mean you slide him into the bullpen.
Yeah.
But the Dodger bullpen is going to be absolutely stacked. There's going to be like 12 guys fighting for 8 spots. And so is Heaney a guy that you feel good about moving into the bullpen? Where does he fit come October and into November, potentially?
Yeah. So Heaney's why I said Heaney's interesting is I know they showed the graphic last night during the game that Heaney's received some of the highest run support in all of baseball during his starts. I think it was like it was north of 7 runs, something absurd. So you're able to pitch differently. But what's tough to gauge about him is that when he gets hit hard.
Yeah.
But when he's missing bats, I think he had like 20 whiffs last night. And
he's the Chris Taylor of pitchers. When the contact is there, it's loud, but it's not often there. There's a lot of swing and miss.
So I'd love to say he's in the bullpen because that's where I think he should be. Like come October, it just in a spot start. I would give him that leeway. If he's only giving up loud contact, 2 runs, but he's going to give you he's giving you back-to-back outings of 10 Ks. Yeah. I'm taking, 6 innings of, 2 earned. It's fine by me. That's postseason baseball. You'd love a shutout or 1 run, but it happens. You're going to get tagged. Yeah. It's, good ball players. But if you put him in the bullpen and he's able to limit middle of the plate, that whiff rate, all those numbers, him hitting his spots, he's deceptive. When you saw the swing from Andrew McCutchen, I think in the first inning, he was locked in on him last week in Milwaukee. He looked fooled in that at bat. Even though he fouled a bunch off, he was crossed up. So you guys, you're having to cheat on 2 pitches. That's special stuff. So it's not just he has 2 pitches. He's making guys have to cheat on his fastball, because you're not touching the slider.
Yeah. No, and I mean, the thing about Heaney for me, and we've talked about it if you've followed along here, is the thing that I like about Heaney is the strikeout rate and the walk rate. So when I talk about what I say, a 5.17 strikeout to walk rate, those are the 2 most important metrics, basically, come postseason time. You could probably throw home run rate in there because 1 swing could crush you. But this is a guy that the strikeout rate, the whiff rate, I just talked about it, 98th percentile strikeout rate. You look at starting pitchers who have thrown more than 40 innings. That's a very low bar because that's the only bar he clears because of injuries. There's only 1 starting pitcher in all of Major League Baseball, Spencer Strider, who has more strikeouts per 9 innings than Andrew Heaney. And if you include relievers in that bucket, there are just 3 starters in the top 20 in Major League Baseball. It's Strider, then it's Heaney, who's right behind him, and Shohei Ohtani is the only other guy in the top 20. And that number might actually be trending up. He has 25 strikeouts his past 13 and 2/3 innings. He has 39 strikeouts and 26 and a third innings since coming off the injured list in July. And so that's what gets me excited about Heaney because he gives you the option of length. Like, let's say you get into a spot where somebody struggles and you've got a 4 or even 5-man rotation, and so you don't want to burn Dustin May or Anderson or whoever. Heaney's a guy that you can bring in the 2nd or 3rd inning and trust that he could potentially get you 3 or 4 innings. And even if you don't need him in that spot, if you've got somebody up that you need swing and miss, bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th inning or something, Heaney is a guy who can come in, not really worried about him walking too many guys, but tons and tons of swing and miss. The caveat to all this is, it's nice to say that until you start actually comparing him to other guys who are in the bullpen. So to me, a guy like David Price, I would prefer Heaney because of the swing and miss, as good as David Price has been this season. Caleb Ferguson roughed up. The swing and miss hasn't been great from Caleb Ferguson, but I think the .44 ERA going into last night's game, I think he's probably still safe. But then it gets interesting. Vesia, high strikeout rate guy. I'm up good on Vesia. But like Brusdar Graterol, Tommy Kahnle, like if those are the types of conversations, Chris Martin, Craig Kimbrell, like if you start to have, who is Heaney? Do you want Heaney more than you want Chris Martin? Do you want Heaney more than you want Brusdar Graterol? To me, I actually think the answer is yes, because of the versatility, being able to give you length, and because even throwing 5 to 6 innings in most of these starts, he's still striking out more than those guys. Imagine what that rate would be if you looked at Heaney and said, I need 3 outs, rear back, give me 95, maybe touching 96 on the fastball, and the slider that nobody can touch, and go from there. Are you in agreement on that?
100%. Yeah, the Dodgers invented a slider for Andrew Heaney. He never threw it like at this rate in his career, and it's magic. So
yeah.
to put him out there, you can put him in either role. Like we said, our lists can vary. Like it can improve. I don't think it can go down just because of what we've seen. Unless my only issue is that his usage. They've been really careful with him after his injury. Yeah. They're not pushing him, and he's had so much support, like offensively, that he doesn't have. His stressful innings haven't been there. So that's kind of where it's not that I want him to have to be in stressful spots, but that's a test that I'd like to see, just so we can see how that 2-pitch mix comes into play when he can't just sit and attack. But if they can't touch it, then it doesn't matter how he pitches. It's still going to play no matter what.
Yeah, it's a great point. Well, let us know what you guys think below. Andrew Heaney, are you confident in him right now? Are you more confident in him than Tyler Anderson, Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, potentially? And where does he fit come October? Are you more confident with him in the bullpen than a Chris Martin, than a Craig Kimbrell, than an Alex Vesia, than a David Price, than a Brusdar Graterol? Tough decisions incoming for Andrew Friedman and Dave Roberts and company. That's Scott Geirman. You can read his stuff over at DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel. As always, we appreciate you here joining us at DodgerHeads. Make sure you check us out, DodgerBlue1958 on social media, and of course on YouTube. Subscribe, ring the notification bell, spread the word. We have tons of content coming for the stretch run as the Dodgers cruise to an NL West division title, the best record in the National League, and heck, even the best record in baseball. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.